Teslacam. I hope you're satisfied.
Kevin was waiting at a red light in Richmond, Texas in his Model 3. He started to pull away when the light turned green, but he didn't get very far. A driver ran a red light and T-boned Kevin's Tesla. The crash set off all his airbags. When the dust settled, Kevin was able to step out of his car to survey the damage. Luckily, both Kevin and the other driver were uninjured. They called 911 and emergency responders quickly arrived at the scene. The other driver accepted full responsibility after learning that the Tesla had a feature called Teslacam that had captured everything on video. Kevin's insurance company was quick to determine his Tesla a total loss. They cut him a check for $49,000, even more than what he paid for the car when it was new. The price for used Teslas has surged through the roof, and there is such a high demand for them now that some are worth more than their original purchase price. Kevin has already placed an order for a new Tesla. Right on, brother. Chris was driving his brand new Model 3 in Germany. We've seen that there are a lot of people who want to race Teslas when they see them, but this video takes the cake. As Chris was driving along, he noticed something overtaking him just before a corner, and he couldn't believe his eyes when he saw what it was. Oh, come on! Chris spent a lot of money on this car, only to be passed by a duck. This video's submitter was driving his Model 3 when a semi-truck blew through a red light and hit a Toyota Corolla that was making a left turn. The submitter downloaded the Teslacam footage to his phone and waited for the cops to arrive. When they did, he airdropped the video straight to an officer's phone. Most of the witnesses were dismissed after the cop reviewed the video. Joseph was driving south on I-5 near Lathrop, California when he passed a red Honda Civic that immediately wanted to overtake him again. The Civic jumped all the way over to the fast lane without checking for traffic, but there was already a blue Honda Civic in that lane which proceeded to lose control and take out the red Civic. There's a glitch in the Honda bump code. They're turning on each other. Susan was also driving on I-5 when she also noticed this new glitch. A white Honda Civic suddenly decided to zip across two lanes and bump into another Honda Civic. At first it looked like the white Civic was about to run, but they both ended up getting off the interstate at the next exit. Hopefully they got everything resolved, but if not, Susan hopes this video helps. Hashtag Honda Bump. This Model 3 owner left his car parked one night on the streets of Denver, Colorado. When he came back the next morning, he found multiple dents and scratches, as well as this Sentry mode video. The recorded footage shows an angry man hurling a rock at the Tesla. He then walked off to find even larger rocks, returning multiple times to inflict even more damage. If you have any information on who this guy is, please contact us and we'll relay it to the submitter and to his local police department. Gavin operates a rental car business using the Turo app and rents out a Model 3 on the platform. A customer had taken the vehicle to the University of Arizona for a Family Week event. They'd parked the Tesla in a parking garage on campus, and the vehicle next to them on the driver's side was parked a bit out of their spot, which forced the Tesla renter to park slightly to the side as well. The driver of a Kia Soul pulled in and parked next to them. They had no problem pulling in super close to the Tesla, but when the Kia's driver returned that night at 11 p.m., he decided that he didn't like how the Tesla had been parked. His key came out, and I bet you can guess what happened next. Gavin contacted the police and filed a report, letting them know he'd like to press charges for the damage. Avery left his Model S charging in Nashville, Tennessee when Sentry Mode recorded a vandal unplugging all the charging Teslas. They walked past Avery's Tesla at first, but then they returned for his plug as well. What's even more weird is that his girlfriend was recording him doing it. It had just rained, and the genius left all the charging cords and plugs in the muddy water. Not a very smart or kind move. I have to wonder, what's the point of doing this, and where will that phone footage end up? Let us know if you see it anywhere. Isaac and his friends were on their way to a local ski shop in his Tesla on a sunny Friday evening. Isaac accidentally drove past the ski shop's parking lot, so he had to make a U-turn at the next intersection. Isaac started to perform the U-turn once oncoming traffic was clear, and while he was in the middle of the U-turn, a lady attempting to enter the intersection drove right into the passenger side of his 1-month-old Tesla Model 3. Isaac had the right-of-way since she'd failed to stop at a stop sign, so both insurance companies quickly found her to be at fault. The Model 3 has a pretty wide turning radius that requires over 38 feet curb to curb, a fact that has inspired quite a lot of negative feedback. Do you think this turning radius is a problem? Leave a comment and let us know. Ben was driving his Model 3 in Salt Lake City, Utah when he witnessed a 3-car pileup. Everyone involved was able to walk away, but Ben called the Utah Highway Patrol to offer them his Teslacam footage. Within 2 minutes, a trooper called him to the scene to show him the video on his Tesla's screen. Ben also emailed the footage to them, and the Highway Patrol was very thankful that they could see that the driver of the black Chevy was clearly at fault. Another case closed by Detective Tesla. Gert witnessed a Volvo losing control on a highway in the Netherlands. He says it was a miracle no other cars were involved. The woman in the car was very shaken up, but fortunately she had no serious injuries. Gert shared the video with local law enforcement. Dakota had parked his Model 3 in Montrose, Colorado when Sentry Mode caught 2 people breaking into the Toyota 4Runner parked in front of him. Dakota came back to his car while this was happening, but it turned out it was their own car and they had locked their keys inside. Phew! Ahmad was driving his Model 3 in Dubai when he was rear-ended by a Kia. The Kia hit him without even trying to stop. Ahmad says he can only assume that the driver was using her phone, which is why she didn't press the brakes or react in any way. Everyone was unharmed, and the police arrived at the scene and helped them file their insurance reports. Aaron was on vacation at a cabin in the Great Smoky Mountains near Sevierville, Tennessee when they had an unexpected visitor. This is the Teslacam footage from Aaron's mom's Model Y, where we can see a bear looking inside Aaron's Model Y. Let's switch over to his angle. Oh man, you've gotta love this multi-Tesla action. Aaron says that there was thankfully no damage to either car, and that they were careful not to leave any food in the cars and keep their trash locked up. Bears are no joke, and they can tear a car apart to get any food that might be inside. Victor was driving his Model Y using Autopilot in Dallas, Texas, and following a line of cars in the leftmost lane. After letting a Jeep pass him in the right lane, he used his turn signal to direct Autopilot to change lanes. The Tesla then sped up since it was no longer behind a slower vehicle. That's when the driver of a Honda in the left lane sped up and passed him. He then abruptly merged into Victor's lane, nearly sideswiping his Tesla. This move forced Victor to take over from Autopilot since the Honda had nearly pushed him into the truck next to him. Victor noticed the Honda kept tailgating and road raging after the failed collision attempt, so he floored the juice pedal in an attempt to get away from him. Victor suspected the guy might try to brake check him, so he engaged Autopilot again, knowing the computer has faster reflexes than he does. Sure enough, he passed Victor and brake checked him as expected. Autopilot performed perfectly and avoided a rear-end accident. Derek and his son Aiden were getting haircuts when they heard a massive crunch and the alarm on his Tesla going off. Seconds later, Derek got a notification on his phone. Derek got up and went to the window of the salon and saw witnesses running to his Tesla from multiple directions. Let's see what had happened. Derek called the police and they quickly arrived at the scene. The accident was initially a hit and run, but officers tracked down the offender at his house after watching the Sentry mode footage from inside Derek's Tesla. The offender was ordered to come back and provide his insurance information, or else he'd be brought back in cuffs. He decided to do things the easy way and came back on his own. Andrew was driving down the street when a car pulled off an exit ramp without yielding and crossed 3 lanes of traffic before hitting his Model 3. The video was the first thing his insurance company got to see, and the other driver was immediately found at fault. He didn't have insurance, but Andrew luckily had uninsured motorist coverage. The repair bill came in at $8,000 in damages since the front bumper cover was a custom part from Unplugged Performance. It's now been 4 months and Andrew's car is almost done getting fixed. Ruth was driving her Model 3 in San Francisco, California. The main road was blocked by emergency vehicles, so all traffic was being diverted onto a tiny side street. She backed up to let a Honda pass when she had space to do so, but then cars came piling up behind her and she had to move forward so they could also let the Honda get past. Then another Honda came driving up the street, but this time Ruth couldn't move anymore since she now had cars tailgating her. So the Honda would need to yield. Roll the jingle.
Jump in! Honda bumped! Honda bumped! Yeah!
The Honda driver fled the scene, but Ruth pulled over and waited to meet the owner of the Skoda that had been Honda bumped. The damage to the rear body panel and wheel was quite extensive. The Teslacam video helped the insurance company locate the offending car and its driver. Alec drives a refreshed 2021 Tesla Model S long range. As he was driving along, a Corvette lined up next to him and they decided to have a friendly rolling start race. Alex says the Corvette driver seemed very impressed by the Tesla's acceleration and gave him a thumbs up. They ended up having a friendly conversation at the next red light. Gustavo was driving his Model Y long range when the driver of a Corvette revved his engine right next to him and slowed down to let him know he wanted to race. Gustavo looked at his wife with the biggest freaking smile, silently asking for permission to race. Her response was just to smile back, unleashing the kid inside him. At the next red light, they both lined up to blast off when it turned green. Gustavo's wife lowered her window to say, "Beautiful car," but before she could finish, the light turned green and the race was on. Even Gustavo was amazed that his Tesla, with only 50% of the battery charged, absolutely smoked the Corvette. He also told us he didn't exceed the speed limit by more than 10 or 15 miles per hour just to keep things safe. Gustavo says every single cell in his body was jumping in excitement. The driver of the Corvette pulled around to his left side and told him he was just dying for some traction. He was really impressed with the Tesla and asked Gustavo if they could give it another try. They did, and as expected, the Tesla smoked the beautiful Corvette once more. I don't know about you, but I love seeing these videos.